Hey everyone, what is going on? So we are battling Jokes today in today's video in the Ferocious Cup, and I will leave a link to his YouTube channel in the description down below if you want to go ahead and check out his videos. And so his team is going to be Alola Ninetales, Piloswine, very interesting, Skuntank, Laran, Raichu, and Vaporeon, and my team will be Minun, Nidoqueen, Alola Ninetales, Skuntank, Umbreon, and B-Barrel, and really focusing on Skuntank in this video. I mean, it's pretty much a good switch-in because it's only weak to ground Pokemon. The only problem it has is it's really not a bulky Pokemon, so it's still going to take a good amount of damage from like water guns or from other charge moves. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of super effective fast ground moves in this format. I mean, I think we could have, Mud Shot or Mud Slap with Sand Slash, but outside of that, it doesn't really do a lot of damage to begin with. And I mean, of course, you have Nidoqueen with Earth Power and Earthquake, that will completely shut it down. And as I learned in this battle, Piloswine with Bulldoze, and as well as Alolan Sandslash with Bulldoze, so it could definitely take super effective damage, and it's going to be knocked out fast from those moves. But outside of that, I mean, when you switch it in, if you lose the lead and you switch in the Skuntank, it's basically going to be a good switch-in for you because there's not going to be a whole lot. Now, as you could see, I was thinking, okay, I could survive an Avalanche and I can get to a Flamethrower probably, but then he hit me with Bulldoze. Now, I knew Piloswine had Bulldoze, I just wasn't thinking of it for some reason. I'm not really sure why. It wouldn't have mattered because I didn't have any shields, I couldn't have done anything about it. But yeah, anyway, he does go ahead and take that one. But yeah, Skuntank, pretty good switch-in. I mean, if you switch in and then they want to switch out into something that might counter it well, maybe a Nidoqueen, you're still not going to be taking super effective damage from their Poison Jab attacks. They'll have to get to Earth Power in order to knock you out or do a lot of damage, and by that time, you'll get off charge moves, maybe take their shields. So pretty safe switch-in when it comes to this cup, in my opinion, because as I said, it's only weak to ground. It doesn't have any other weaknesses. You know, it will be taking good damage, I guess, from Charm, from either Granbull or Alolan Ninetales, but at the same time, it'll be dishing out super effective damage with Poison Jab, so yeah, let me know what you guys think of Skuntank. I have been enjoying it. I think it's a pretty good Pokemon. I mean, it's nothing new. We've used this Pokemon in the Twilight Cup and other cups in the past. Nightmare Cup, too. So, definitely a Pokemon we've seen quite a bit of, but I do feel like it is pretty good in this cup. Now, when you're using it, if you're going up against a Steel type like Laran, obviously you don't really want to do that, or Nidoqueen, because they're going to resist Poison Jab, so you do have to get to your charge moves in order to do much, but it's still a relatively safe switch in, and that's what I really like about Skuntank when it comes to this cup. So we're just going to take a look at this battle. This battle is almost over. We're going to hit him with an Earth Power and knock out Laran. He did have a shield, but he figured it was over at this point because I had 2 shields anyway. Nidoqueen wasn't going anywhere, so good game. We're going to jump into another one. For this game, it's actually a Skuntank mirror match. I was deciding to lead with it just to see how the lead matchup goes. I noticed like a lot of people do run that Sludge Bomb over Flamethrower. I like Flamethrower because if you're going up against, let's say, a Steel type, you're not going to be doing much with a Sludge Bomb, and same with if you're going up against like a Nidoqueen. I guess Crunch would do well, but Flamethrower definitely hits Alola Ninetales for super effective damage. Sludge Bomb would hit it too, but yeah. Anyway, he hits me with Crunch. Another good thing is if you're going up against opposing Skuntanks, obviously that Flamethrower will be doing neutral damage, whereas Sludge Bomb and Crunch are both resistant. That's another benefit to having Flamethrower. But let me know what move you prefer in Skuntank. So he is able to feint me with that Raichu. I do bring in my Nidoqueen to wall it nice and well, you know. Nidoqueen will be walling the Electric Mouse. He hits me with Wild Charge. I mean, I guess to be fair, the damage does add up. He actually gets off another move before I'm able to, so he's going to hit me with yet another Wild Charge. But again, we could take it. That was actually a CMP tie because as you can see, I'm going for my Earth Power right now. And that will knock out Raichu. He will decide to allow it to feint, and he brings in his Alolan Ninetales, and I decide, you know what, I'm not going to switch. I'm going to stay in with Nidoqueen to get off this Earth Power. Now, I figured he would shield. He has to if he wants to try and win this game, but he does go ahead and feint me. I bring in my B-Barrel, and this was actually a close game, so I do decide to go for Surf. I should have just tried to feint it down with Water Guns, But I decided to go for Surf just to take the last shield, and I guess he is going to go for his charge move as well to try and knock me out. But of course, I have 2 shields, so of course I'm going to use it. And then we just feint down with water guns. So a better play, I guess, would have been just trying to feint down with water guns instead of using my charge move, but it didn't matter. So, good game. For the next match, I lead with my Minun. He leads with Poliswine. Terrible matchup for me. Definitely going to have to bail because we cannot do anything to ground Pokemon. I switch into Poliswine. He does switch into Raichu, which is obviously a good switch for him. The thing I like about these water Pokemon is that even though you switch into an electric type like Raichu or Minun, it's still doing... you're still able to do a lot of damage with Water Gun because electric does not resist water, right? So, anyway, he does fire off a Brick Break, doing a lot of damage to me. He gets another one. I do decide to block this because I figured I would be able to get to a Surf before he got to another one, as we do. So, I do give up a shield, trying to keep that switch advantage, and he actually does shield that, so he is out of shield, so we would have either kept the switch advantage or taken both shields. So, I'll take it. I will take it. I bring in my Nidoqueen, and he is going to go ahead and fire off a Wild Charge. Again, not doing much to me. He brings in Poliswine, and this is definitely not great because we're going to have to use a shield against Avalanche, as I do. So I'm going to go ahead and shield that, and I'm trying so hard to get to the Earth Power. We are successfully able to get to it. So I'm going to go ahead and fire off the Earth Power against his Poliswine. Doing a good amount of damage. I mean, it doesn't knock it out. He gets off his charge move, which is going to be that Avalanche, which will definitely knock out my Pokemon. But I knew I couldn't switch into Minun against Poliswine because my electric moves are not going to do much to it. He brings in Laren, and I do go for my Thunderbolt. Shields are down, so might as well go for it. And we'll see how much damage it does. Decent amounts. We're trying to get to, I think, a discharge at this point, but he does get off his charge move. Let's see which one he decides to go for. It will be that Rock Slide. And he actually switches into Raichu, and we go for the discharge. Now, I saw the switch. He didn't catch this discharge, but I still wanted to do it against Raichu because I knew he would be able to get off a charge move against me. So I am actually going to go for another discharge. We do get to it against his Laren, and we knock him out. And we actually win that one. I did not think I was going to win that one after the bad lead matchup, and I thought he had better counters than I did in the back. But we still managed to sneak out a win. So very good game. Very good game. For this match, I lead with my Umbreon without Last Resort, although I do have a trade lined up before the Richmond tournament. So fingers crossed it falls below 1500. It's actually at, I think, 1560 something, and we're only good friends, so it's a chance to fall below 1500. So keep your fingers crossed for me. I really appreciate it. So he brings in Skuntank, and I lag a little bit. I wasn't able to switch immediately, but then we do get the switch, so I don't think it mattered too much. Anyway, he gets off a Crunch against my B-Barrel, doing a lot of damage. B-Barrel will be able to get to a Surf against the Skuntank, and he does decide to block that. And he's just trying to feint me down at this point. He actually goes for his charge move. I guess he probably thought that I was almost at Surf, but he could have knocked me out before that, but I guess he didn't know that. And then I bring in my Skuntank to try and do a lot of damage to his opposing Skuntank. I know I could take Sludge Bomb as well as Crunch, so we do take it. Still does a decent amount, but we're still able to take it. I do go for my Crunch because I didn't want him to get off another charge move, so that's exactly what we're going to do, and we will knock out his Skuntank. I switch immediately and click on the Foul Play just to get damage off against this Vaporeon. He actually pulls the switch, and I get off another Foul Play. So 2 Foul Plays, one going for the Vaporeon, the other going for the Poliswine. And we're trying to charge up. We actually are able to get to another Foul Play. So as you can see, Foul Play does charge up really fast. Umbreon is really spammy and really tanky. So love the Pokemon. I do decide to shield this one so I can get to another Foul Play. And we are successfully able to get to that Foul Play, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And let's see if he shields. He does not shield, so he's relatively low. He's going to get off his charge move. I do allow Umbreon to go down, as you can see. And we are going to bring in my Skuntank, and we experience lag. Not sure if he's lagging on his end or not, but I certainly am. But he does pull the switch into Umbreon. He gets off a charge move. I absolutely have to shield this, no doubt about it. So I do go ahead and shield it. And we do get off the Crunch, so I knew this would knock out Vaporeon. because shields are down. So luckily for me, he has no shields. And then he brings in his Piloswine, and we're actually able to feint him with Poison Jab despite Piloswine resisting it. So very close game. Another game I thought I wasn't going to win, but we were able to pull it out. So we have another game. I do lead with my Alola Ninetales. He leads with Skuntank. Now Skuntank is doing super effective damage with Poison Jab, but at the same time we're doing neutral damage to Skuntank, and because Skuntank not the bulkiest Pokemon in the world, so it isn't really taking him too well. He does get off his Crunch, and also Charm obviously is powerful. Bringing in Lairon, and then I pull the switch into my B-Barrel. You do not want to keep an Alola Ninetales in against the Lairon, and he does go for the Rock Slide, doing a lot of damage to me, and I am going to go ahead and get off the Surf. Just curious if he's going to go ahead and shield this. Let's find out. He does decide to shield it. I guess he wants to be up in switch advantage. I am going to go ahead and let B-Barrel fall to this Body Slam. Probably should have blocked that so we could feint him with Water Gun. I think that was a definite mistake on my end. However, I bring in Alola Ninetales, and we do get off that Psyshock, which will knock out Lairon. And we're just waiting to see what comes in. It is going to be that Skuntank. So again, even matchup, but he is able to feint me. I bring in my Nidoqueen, and he is going to go ahead and get off his charge move. I do allow it to go through. It is going to be Crunch, and he switches into Vaporeon, and this is definitely not going to go over well for me. I do go for the Earth Power, but that definitely will be shielded, and he is going to be easily able to feint me down with Water Gun. So good games, and that will be it for this video, guys. See you in the next one. Bye!